Until midnight on 6PR, this is Perth Tonight with Chris Ilsley.
Time to catch up with Ben Aylett and talk technology. Of course, Ben Aylett, 1L, 2 T's in Aylett. BenAylett.com is a website. You also know him by his Hawaiian shirts, which he's wearing right now. Good evening.
Good evening, Chris.
Mate.
Yeah.
Hang on a sec. I've got to get this right.
Wow.
We cannot understate this.
Yep.
We have had the mother of all hacks. I mean, we're talking serious megabucks in this one.
When it comes to ransomware attacks, this is pretty much up there, and it's really, really unique in the amount of money that these criminals are asking. So just to refresh everyone's memory, we've had a report come through today from the West Australian, I think you'll find it, that a quote, a global company with an office in Perth has been attacked by hackers who are demanding a $30 million ransom to unlock its computer system in Australia. So this is affecting Australian operations. They haven't disclosed who the company is. There's been a few guesses out there. I'm not going to sort of get into that.
We won't speculate here. I don't want to do speculation. However, feel free to ring the rumour file tomorrow morning.
Absolutely, yeah. Look, and the only speculation I'm going to be doing tonight is the sort of nature of the attack. Okay, so when I see a cybercrime organisation holding a business to ransom for $30 million, I'm thinking that these criminals have done their homework. You wouldn't just randomly pick a business, hammer their systems and say $30 million, thanks. No. These guys obviously know who they have compromised, who they've hacked, and this is actually like hands-on keyboards. We've done our research, we've checked their systems out, we've managed to target the right parts and really put the screws on them, and 30 mil, thanks very much. So this most likely gets in through social engineering. Now, those that are not aware, social engineering is when you trick someone into doing something you normally wouldn't do. This is typically done by email or through social media. So they get you to click on a link or download a file or log into a service that looks like what you should be doing, but it actually isn't. What it's doing, it's collecting your information. So the theory is that the compromise would have first come through as an email, and then once the bad guys got control of that email, they then had control of that inbox, and they could then send out emails to other people within that organisation looking legit, and including things like extensions or links or making requests, and then just generally getting a good feel for the business.
What about the systems firewall and the systems management? We've got a pretty good system here, and I think largely the reason for that is because they know there's so much stuff that comes in.
Yep.
We solicit emails. I mean, I solicit emails to this program for anyone who wants to send them. Obviously, people are going to try and send malicious stuff.
Yep.
The system's pretty good at filtering it out.
Yep.
But it strikes me that some companies aren't. I've been told by people before that there are people even around Perth who know which businesses have good security and which businesses don't.
It's not hard to figure out who is going well with security and who isn't. All it takes is a couple of funny emails or just some simple tricks to get people to do things they shouldn't be doing, and even just getting on and starting a scan. So there are systems out there. I can set up a laptop that will then go on the internet and it'll start scanning the systems that have got common vulnerabilities open and ready to exploit.
Well, I'll say one thing. If you're in business, you probably need to be talking to somebody like Ben. The reason being that it strikes me that businesses, despite the fact that we think they should be, they are not, a lot of them, serious about security. One of the reasons would be, I'm sorry, it gets back to penny pinching. You look at something and think, oh, I can put this in, set and forget, without realising that these things do need some sort of security. And now's the time to get serious, because otherwise, even if you are penny pinching, you're going to lose a hell of a lot more. If somebody drops ransomware in your system and then says, hand over millions of dollars or I'm not unlocking it.
And look, and a lot of the opportunistic attacks that a lot of small businesses can fall to, they might not go for more than $2,000 or $3,000, but still It's disrupting your business. It's shaking faith that your customers might have in you. It's shaking the faith that your suppliers might have in you. So it could affect your supply chain.
Here's something else to consider.
Yeah.
Obviously, these people are doing their homework, and it's only a matter of time before they work out how much you can really afford to pay.
Oh, yeah.
Now, okay, even if they hit you and I for $2 or $3 grand, it'd be like, yeah, well, get in line and wait because we can't stump up that sort of money straight away.
No.
But if you're talking about a business which is pushing millions of dollars a month through its account,
Yep.
they look at that and say, we can scam these people for a hell of a lot more.
Oh, yeah.
And you'll be in the position where you'll have to stump it up. Actually, we'll take Muzz's call and I'll come back to this
All
in
right,
a moment.
okay.
Because Muzz's patiently waiting to have a
Good on you,
conversation.
Muzza. What's up, mate?
G'day, Muzza.
Yeah, g'day, boys. Ben, I think I spoke to you last week. You were talking about this Google Pixel 3a XL.
Yes.
Well, it looks like at the moment that JB Hi-Fi got the Google Pixel 4 XL out for $500 up front in their current catalogue.
Gee, that's not
That'd
too
be
bad.
a good buy.
Yeah, and I've also just seen today there's been some speculation of what the 4A XL will look like.
That's after the 4 XL, is it? The next one?
Yeah, the 4A, yeah. So what they
Right.
typically do is they have the Pixel 2, the Pixel 3 and the Pixel 4. The Pixel 3A is a slightly lower spec than the Pixel 3 in some respects, and it's the same thing with the Pixel 4A. So they tend to be a more budget-conscious phone. So
the Pixel 4 would be better?
the Pixel 4 would be better than the 3A, and
what
actually the Pixel 4 would be better than the Pixel 3.
What about the 4A? Would that be better than the 4 be better than the 4A, or the 5 be better than the 4?
The 4 should be better than the 4A. So the 4A is typically the budget version of the 4.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. That sounds good then. Thanks for that.
Yeah, no worries, mate. Good luck with it. Have fun.
Cheers. Yep.
Thanks very much for that, Muzza. By the way, if you'd like to have a chat to Ben, 922 882 the number. Now back to this business.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, so, right, where were we? We were talking about small businesses affected. Yep, okay.
And also the fact that they could suddenly work out how much money you were worth and how much money it's worth slamming. Because it's not worth slamming you and I for money because we don't have it.
Yeah.
But the moment you realise you're talking to a business that does have it,
Yep.
and where I was going with this, if a system is infected with this ransomware or crypto locker or something of that nature, technically, how easy is it for somebody like you to undo it?
It depends on the type of ransomware that's installed. So there are tools out there that will take care of most of ransomware infections, most of the older ones. The brand new ones can be a little harder to recover from. So it's not as simple as removing a virus as it was in the old days, where you just go and remove the executable and plug up the holes and you're good to go. Ransomware is actually quite destructive, and it will go in and scramble the information.
It has multiple tentacles, is what you're telling me.
It does have, it does have multiple tentacles, if you want to put it that way, yes. So it can not only infect your systems, it can travel across the internal network and infect other systems within your business. Worst case scenario, it will actually start sending itself to people in your address book, so people in your supply chain. Which could be not only embarrassing.
In other words, people could look at it and say, gee, it's safe to open this because it comes from Ben. I do a lot of business with Ben. Next thing you know, you've got the same problem.
Bingo. Exactly right. So that is the concern. And ransomware is actually one of many threats that we're facing at the moment. But the good thing is...
how soon, and I'm not being flippant saying this, how long is it going to be before we end up with a coronavirus on computers?
Look, they are using the coronavirus news topic at the moment as a way to get people interested in an email, so they click on the link. So it's actually being used actively now today to trick people into clicking on things they shouldn't be clicking on. So this is, again, the social engineering aspect coming in, and it's that initial attack, we call it a vector, and with email and just tricking people into clicking on stuff they shouldn't be clicking on.
Antivirus software recognise a lot of this stuff, or is it sneaking under the radar?
Ransomware is incredibly successful because they factored antivirus software into their attack. 87% of hackers surveyed, I think it was a couple of years ago at DEF CON, actually said, yeah, we know about antivirus software, thanks very much, and we actually include it in our attacks. We understand how it works, and we know how to get around it. So antivirus software on its own, it'll take care of the basic stuff.
It's becoming less effective is what you're telling me, isn't it?
We are not getting the bang for buck we did 10 years ago. So things have changed in the last 10 years. Actually, in the last 5 years, things have changed dramatically. And so the way to fix this is to, first of all, get some good security hardware together. So a good firewall with a gateway, and it does all the monitoring and it does all the smart things. So that's one of the first things you can go and get.
Yep.
You also then start training your staff. This is probably the most efficient way to spend your money, is to get your people understanding the threats that come with email, viruses, and that sort of thing. It is actually easy. Once you've got the training, it is dead easy to spot the bad emails and stop them dead in their tracks.
But it's a case of knowing what to look for. Once you know what to look for, like everything, I guess it becomes easy.
Exactly.
But if you don't know what to look for, then it becomes rather hard.
Yeah, well, that's something I do as well. So I actually train people on knowing what to look for. And it's really not that hard. So once you get them going, so I might have to spend maybe a few weeks or a couple of months with them and just take them through it, and they can then refer emails to me. I then look at it and I say back, I send it back, say, this is a bad email because of this, this and this.
Yep.
And I start to train people on how to spot bad emails.
How are they going to change antivirus software going forward? Or have we reached the era where we simply have to accept it's not, nor will it ever be as effective as it once was?
Antivirus as it stands, even next generation antivirus, it does stop some stuff, but a lot of the attacks these days are what we call fileless attacks. So it is like a small script that drops onto a system and it starts using the tools on the system itself to do the infection and do all the nasty stuff.
So what you're saying is you get it without even knowing you have it.
Absolutely. So this is how they're defeating a lot of antivirus programs. And this is where it comes down to really smart next generation firewalls, some people to support it, and security operations centers. Are
the bad guys always going to be one step ahead?
Well,
because let's face it, anything you do to counteract it, you can't do until you know it exists.
Exactly.
And the only way you can know it exists is when somebody gets infected. Yeah. So how do you come up with the counter software? Is there any way to do it in a proactive way, or are we really reaching the age where the user just has to be more vigilant?
We are getting to the point where the systems available and the services available will get us very, very close to being in step with the bad guys. Or at least very, very close. So there is one service that I use called Red Piranha, and I also will be doing talks with these guys in Bunbury, by the way.
Yep.
But the system they've pulled together, you get a firewall, and you can also get what's called a virtual chief information security officer. So you're getting the benefit of employing someone who would cost you $170,000, $180,000 a year.
Yep.
You get them for a fraction of that. And you're also tied into their security operations center, so they are watching everything that goes across that network that matters to them. So if it looks funky, it'll set an alert. They will contact your point of contact in the business, and you'll be able to act on it accordingly. And in most cases, they'll proactively block whatever is happening. So this covers things like fileless malware attacks, insider threats, and they'll also do things like vulnerability scans. So if there is a system that needs a patch, they'll let you know. And this is just great technology, and I'm really 100% behind these guys.
How long has it been going?
Red Piranha, I think, has been going for at least, I know the guys for the last couple of years. So they could have been going for more than 2 or 3 years.
They act in a lot of this proactive stance because they're actively looking for stuff.
Absolutely, yeah. They do have a threat intelligence department. So they're actively monitoring what's going on the network, but they're also watching the dark web. So they're looking out for that criminal chatter that should give them a bit of a heads up about what might be coming down the pipeline in regards to attacks. So yeah, I've actually partnered with these guys. I like their products so much. I've said, right, okay, I'm in on this. So I'll be getting my own little firewall very soon, I hope. Yeah.
Is it a firewall that's going to be effective? Because I know sometimes people argue firewalls can either be not effective or so effective that stuff that you used to get, you now have a hell of a trouble getting it through the firewall, even though it's okay.
Yeah, it's looking like it's actually, it's very good, it's well-trained, and we can do, look, there's so many tricks these devices have. It's just incredible how they're all tied in. So let's say we've got one customer in Sydney, and they have got a firewall appliance from Red Piranha in, and something happens. And the guys at the Network Operations Centre see this and they say, okay, that's a bad thing. Let's add this to all of the Red Piranha appliances within our entire customer base. So if one person spots a problem, everyone gets the notification, and all of those devices actually start actively locking down that problem. So it is pretty advanced stuff.
That's what we like to hear.
It's pretty, and you know
So
what?
there definitely are people who are at least keeping up with it,
Yeah.
if not getting ahead of it.
And best of all, these guys started up in Perth. It's run by a Scarborough boy.
Isn't it amazing?
Yeah.
You know, we had the same thing with IINet until it got taken over by corporates, and
That's right. Yeah. So
I thought somebody described that to me beautifully.
yeah.
When IINet was taken over, it was like David Jones became best for less.
Yeah, it's so cool. But look, if anyone's interested in finding out more about Red Piranha, please feel free to get in touch with me at benaylett.com.
BenAylett.com, that's where you'll find all of his contact information. By the way, 1L, 2 T's in Aylett. And if you'd like to have a chat with the man right now, now's a good time. You've got some technical problems, and let's face it, technology may keep us connected for a while if we happen to be housebound.
Absolutely. I reckon that's the
Don't
one saving grace. I mean, imagine trying to be quarantined for 2 weeks now with no internet.
Well, imagine this. I can't see my grandkids for 2 weeks. Well, you can Skype them.
Yes. And you can actually work from home too.
And you need technology.
You do.
Yeah. Mind you, in some cases, you can't work from home.
In some cases, yeah. But if you're an office person, or if you're sort of on the road but you do a lot of your work on the computer, you can do that at home.
I would imagine, too, a lot of workplaces are exploring how they could have people working from home if they need to.
Yes, they can. They do have to be careful, though, because there are tools out there, but unfortunately some of those tools are being exploited. Once again, benaylett.com. I've got a little heads up on what you should avoid doing if you want to get working at home set up for your business. So just
Beautiful.
go along there.
BenAylett.com is the website, and 922 118 882 our number.
I'm in the room. This is Perth Tonight with Chris Ilsley on 882 6PR.
Ben Aylett's here talking technology. BenAylett.com is the website. 1L, 2 T's in Aylett.
That's the one.
Hello, Nolene.
Hi, Ben. I just want to thank you for your help last week. I rang up regarding my NBN box,
Right.
and you told me to contact the
Telecommunications
TIO,
Industry
yes.
Ombudsman,
Our
yes.
3 favourite letters.
Yeah, which I did,
Yeah.
and they came out today and fixed the problem.
Well, there you go.
So, yeah, otherwise I'd still be sending these little text messages backwards and forwards and 3 hours on the phone, but there's only one downfall. Now, of course, it's connected. All the bills are coming through and they're all overdue.
Oh, bugger. Oh, dear. I wonder if you can say my internet was out as a reason for not paying on time.
Nah, that's dog eat your homework stuff. Nobody believes it.
No?
That's a problem,
No,
even though it's
No.
true.
Yeah.
It's bloody true, and
Yeah.
I knew it would happen. Like 23 emails have just come through because I've just turned it on
Yeah.
from, and the 23 emails have all come through from the date it went down.
Right. Okay. And so was that the first thing you did when you got your internet back? Was check your email, or did you do something else? What was the first thing you did
I
when you
was
got
at
your
work,
internet?
So when I got home from work, my husband's told me.
Yep.
So I've just plugged it in now.
Great. All right. Yeah. The first thing I would have done is jumped on YouTube or Netflix or something and given it a real test just to make sure it's working fine. Yes.
Yeah.
Might have been nicer,
Fantastic.
Nolene, than finding out all those bills.
Yeah, it is, isn't it now? So, yeah.
Yep.
Excellent.
Well, I'm glad that your internet is working again. Glad the NBN's up and rolling for you.
Yeah.
I'm not glad that you opened your email to find it full of 23 bills. That's not fun at all. Thanks, Nolene.
All right.
God. He never fails, does he, Bill? He's always there.
He's always around. Yeah.
Phil, not Bill. How are you?
G'day, Chris. Hi, Ben.
G'day, Phil.
Hi. When I first had the modem put in, they sent it by the post.
Yep.
And, well, it didn't come for the first 2 weeks, but I kept on getting a bill for it. Finally, 6PR had the NBN lady on 6PR, and I rang her personally, and she said she'd fix it. and she did, but time I got it fitted, it was 3.5 weeks gone by, but they reckon I'd had the modem from the very beginning. First day I said I wanted to come with it, go to the modem.
Yeah.
And so she ended up getting that credited for me. But when you were talking about that telecom ombudsman the other night, a friend of mine said as soon as you report that, they start charging the service provider $88 a day. Is that right?
Yep, that's about right. There is like a daily charge. I'm not too sure exactly how much it is, but when you report things to the TIO, things start to get expensive for the retail service provider. So they've got kind of motivation to close the problem, right?
It definitely works with Nolly, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. You see, and there you go. That's all it takes. So, if anyone's having any problems with your internet, the key is to call the service provider, register a formal complaint, get a case number or a complaint number, and then go to the TIO and then let them know.
It's like the taxi meter ticking away.
Yeah, so don't be a jerk about it. So don't call them, and then as soon as you hang up from the retail service provider, go and call the TIO. Give them a couple of days to at least sort it out, and then call the TIO.
Yeah, good advice, Ben. Thanks, mate.
No worries.
Bye.
Thank you very much for that, Phil. Yeah. Mind you, you can get frustrated, though.
Well, yes.
Because let's face it, they don't go out of their way to make your life harder.
No.
Yeah, they don't. They don't. They don't sit there and say, how can I make this customer's life easy? No, they sit there and say, how can we make it harder? Well, that's how we feel. It may not be the case, but that's how we feel.
I'm pretty sure it's not the case, but it does feel like that sometimes.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, there's something else you were going to mention that we talked about.
Yes. Now, I'm also doing public speaking, and I've got coming up on Thursday, the 2nd of April.
Do you get nervous about public speaking? Do you know that most people would rather be in the coffin at a funeral than giving a eulogy? That is how frightened they are of public speaking.
I can understand where people come from because before I started doing this gig with you here, Chris, I would break out in a sweat when I was talking to a room of more than half a dozen people.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so look, I know exactly where people are coming from, but just to let you guys know out there that are afraid of public speaking or just speaking to a crowd or a room, it's not hard. And quite often the people in that room with you are there thinking, I'm glad it's them up there and not me. So everyone there is actually more scared of what you're doing up there. And, it's dead easy. As long as you know what you're talking about.
Yeah, well, that's easy.
The rest comes easy.
They talk about all this computer stuff, and that's fine for you.
Yeah.
Because you know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, okay. And speaking of knowing what I'm talking about, I will be talking at the Crystal Eye Partner Briefing and Networking event. This will be Thursday, 2nd of April 2020, from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. at the Dolphin Discovery Centre in Bunbury. So any small businesses, and also we want the IT providers to come along as well. So if you're a small IT shop or if you're a managed services provider in Bunbury or servicing clients in Bunbury, come along to the Crystal Eye Partner Briefing and Networking. For more information, just go to redpiranha.net/events. That's redpiranha.net/events.
You can't miss that name, Red Piranha.
It is a cool name.
Only thing you have to do, and this is the only problem, you have to remember how to spell piranha.
Yeah. Piranha. That's it.
Yes, piranha.
Yeah.
Why don't they just say aggressive fish?
Red aggressive fish.
Yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't quite roll off the tongue.
Work, does it? No. About as subtle as that. So when is that again?
It is on Thursday, the 2nd of April.
Yep.
So it's coming up. So I've got to make sure I've got all my my slides all sorted out from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. at the Dolphin Discovery Centre in Bunbury.
And the other thing is, too, it'd be worth talking to Ben, especially if you run a business and you kind of realise honestly that security is not up to speed, because ransomware is out there and they're asking for more dollars.
Yep.
Mate, we'll have a conversation next week.
I will catch you then.
By the way, don't forget the website. That's where you'll find all of Ben's contact information. It is benaylett.com. And as we've mentioned many times, there is one L, two T's in Aylett. So the website, benaylett.com.